This is the English Suite Podcast, the voice of Widener English and creative writing. I'm Jim Esch. On today's show, Matthew Lomas leads a virtual roundtable discussion with some Widener alumni.
Hello there, listeners to the English Suite Podcast. My name is Matthew Lomas, and I am a senior English and creative writing major at Widener University. During this final year that I've had at Widener, I have pondered the question of just how much my own writing has evolved over the 4 years that I have been at this institution. But the other thing that came to my mind was wondering how the writing of other graduates from the past, how their writing has changed or evolved throughout their time in the professional field of writing. What I decided to do is I gathered a bunch of seniors from a variety of previous classes from Widener, and I asked them to talk to me about how their writing has evolved and how they're using their writing in the world today. And so here are just a few of their responses, and I hope you enjoy it.
First, let's hear from Sarah Scarnato.
It's sort of difficult for me to quantify how my own writing has improved since graduating back in 2012. I'm not someone who graduated, worked on a book for 5 years, and became an award-winning author. That was not a realistic track for me upon graduation, though I do still have aspirations. I think I've spent more time editing other people's work than writing my own, and have less feedback than I would like on my own work. Aside from my workshop classes with Dr. Cosharel and Dr. Pobo while attending Widener, I worked for the senior editor in university relations, learning from her how to proofread formal publications. In 2013, I began working as a private high school English teacher, and I felt that my own writing improved vicariously through the constant correcting and commenting on the work of my students. I found myself making suggestions on their pieces that I was familiar with because of experience received working through and studying for my undergrad. I was even able to build and teach an additional writing course for junior and senior high schoolers that looked very much like my Intro to Creative Writing workshop at my first semester at Widener. Fast forward to today, I no longer teach in the classroom. I'm a mother of 2, and I run an agricultural business with my husband. In a world where so many face-to-face interactions are moving to digital ones, I found my proficiency in writing has been beneficial to all customer interactions. It's funny, customer relations in any industry does take finesse and command of tone that challenges one's writing in ways I did not expect. Both my husband and I write as an outlet that feeds our souls. My comfort zone tends to fall under the autobiographical essay blog category, while his is more stream of conscience fiction. I enjoy proofreading both of our work and therein receive that discipline to improve in my writing and not stay static from lack of exercise. Again, it's difficult to quantify how my writing has improved, just as it is hard to explain how studying writing for my undergrad has enriched every work experience I've taken on since graduating. I remember being questioned as a student how I was going to use my degree in the workforce. And the truth was I didn't know. I just knew that studying writing and literature fueled something in me, and that passion has carried me through many obstacles and given me a creative edge that blossomed in every position I took. So has my writing improved? Probably. But more than that, writing has definitely improved me.
Hi, my name is Juan Espinal from the class of 2019. One of the ways that my writing has changed since graduating is that I'm actually getting in more practice. While at Widener, I majored in English and Communications, and now I'm working on my MFA in Creative Writing. And I feel like I may have missed out on the awesome program at Widener, and I didn't really take advantage of that. But through this experience, I've kind of learned that you're never too late to start again with writing. A lot of the people at Rosemont have, had careers and are returning to writing after, taking a break or there being a gap. And I've learned that it's never too late for you to pick up the pen again. I guess the biggest change to my own writing, though, has been the focus of what I write. I think that I would characterize it as a focus on the immigrant experience, primarily on being first generation American. My parents were both born in the Dominican Republic and emigrated to the United States when they were young. So I think I've been facing the duality of being, both American and Dominican. And that's something that I've been exploring in my writing. There is this metaphor that I always return to. It's kind of been stuck in my head for a really long time. And it's the idea of being from two worlds. So, you don't really fit in either of them, and you can't really claim either of them as your home. But, so you're kind of like an outsider. And that's kind of what I've been exploring in my writing. You could tell that I had Graybill's, American literature and immigrant experience. But that's kind of what I want to focus on and continue to explore on the stuff that I'm working on.
Next, let's hear from Pelly Bacek.
I've always had a hard time considering myself a writer. I think that was partly due to the fact that I only ever wrote for an outside purpose. I thought that a writer really had to be someone who had this drive to pour themselves onto paper as if they would burst if they didn't. That was never me. I would say the biggest change in my writing post-grad is that my writing itself now gives me purpose. The skills I developed and honed during school have propelled me up the ladder of my career. My writing has shifted from creative stories to contracts, bargaining agreements, and legal correspondences. Where I once found myself struggling to come up with the perfect descriptive adjectives or adverbs, I now challenge myself to convey the message as precisely and concisely as possible. My writing has become a part of me, finally. I now not only write with purpose, but writing instead became a part of my purpose. I am constantly challenged at work to write differently than I ever have before. Every day, I continue to grow as a writer. I recently had reason to shift back to my creative roots on a project, and never before have words flowed forth so effortlessly. Learning to write in such a different style for my job has pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I feel that I am all the better for it.
My name is Victoria Johnsante. I am a Widener alumni, graduated the year 2018. So my writing since graduation has changed quite a bit. I was actually an English major and not a creative writing major, but immediately after graduating, I got more involved as an alumni and as a part of the Widener writing community. And having taken no actual creative writing classes as an undergraduate, I decided to pursue an MFA in creative writing, which was a very bold move for me. But since then, I've been writing fiction and poetry, essays, you name it. I'm currently working on a novel right now for my thesis, which is something that, 6 years ago, I never would have thought I would be able to do. I've gone so far out of my comfort zone when it comes to my art, and I finally started reading my work at open mic nights and sending pieces into journals for publication. It took a while for me to be able to call myself a writer, but if it weren't for the Widener writing community, I really don't think I would have been able to pursue this path that just feels so right and natural.
And last but not least, let's listen to Emily Defridus.
My writing has improved a lot since graduation, but most of the things that have changed have been just my approach to writing in general. I, during college, obviously was mostly writing for assignments, and so I had to make that transition to figuring out a routine. And it took a little while, to be honest. The pandemic has been a big boost for my writing life. I think it's acted kind of as a reset to refocus on the things that matter. And writing has been a big part of that for me. I've also just sort of reevaluated what's working and what's not. So for a while there, I was just writing whenever the mood struck me. I didn't really have any kind of schedule, and that wasn't working too well. And then when I tried to set a schedule for myself, it was very easy to kind of blow it off and not really stick to it. And one thing that's helped me immensely has been I've joined a small writing group that's meeting regularly and workshopping regularly. So I have this regularly scheduled thing that's keeping me accountable. And I think that that shift in understanding of writing to be a little bit more social in the way that I think about it. I'm thinking about the writing community and how I'm participating in that community. Has been really fruitful for me. It's helped me to motivate myself, but also I think it gives me a lot of energy, and having the chance to give other people feedback also helps me to evaluate different story structures and what works and doesn't work in a way that I think is a little bit more objective than when you're looking at your own work. So that's been really helpful. I've also started to get a better understanding of just my own current mind state and, where I am right now. I had a few times where I would say, okay, today's the day. I'm sitting down. I'm going to write the great American novel. And that pressure just led to burnout almost instantly. I rarely got anywhere when I tried to sit myself down and write something big, especially when I tried to plan it out. And I've learned that I'm definitely what a lot of writers call a pantser. So I enjoy that discovery process as I'm going. So knowing that, I'm starting to work with the things that have worked better for me when I write in that manner. So I'm sticking to shorter things. I'm breaking projects down into smaller pieces, or even just accepting that maybe that writing style is really well suited to shorter works. So I've just been kinder to myself, I think, in my expectations, and also just set more realistic goals. And that has made a world of difference in my writing lately.
We hope you enjoyed this virtual discussion. And thanks again to our Widener alumni for their contributions. Sarah, Johan, Kelly, Victoria, and Emily, thank you. And special thanks to Matthew Lomas for pulling this virtual roundtable together. And Matthew, congratulations on your recent graduation from Widener.
The English Suite is produced by Jim Esch with assistance from Sienna Bowers, Chloe DeFlumery, Christina Giska, Matt Lomas, Gabby Naras, and Shaprez Saimarai. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please consider subscribing and sharing with your friends and followers. To send feedback or get more information about Widener English and creative writing, email us at widenerenglishsuite@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.